Live from Los Angeles, this is the Jim Rome Show on Premier Radio Networks.
Once again, the two sides of Michael Jackson. You know, on the one hand, he meant a lot to a lot of people. I go back to that phone call from Houston that Allie made. He said, Rome, I listen to you every single day. I listen to you every day here at work. I've never had the courage to call you. I've never needed to call you. And I have to admit, on the way in this morning, I was very nervous to see how you were going to handle this. And had you not handled it the way you did, I wouldn't have listened to you anymore. That tells you how much Michael Jackson means to so many people. The guy said it point blank, you know, you're my guy. I love the show. I've listened every single day for years. But had you disrespected the guy, I would not have listened ever again. You know, in short, I like you, Rome, but not like I like and respect and admire Michael Jackson. So there's that. He meant a lot to a lot of people. The other side is, and there's no getting around this, the trial in 2005, where a California jury exonerated him of child molestation, conspiracy, and alcohol charges, could have sent him to prison for nearly 20 years. He was exonerated of those charges. He also had a settlement with the family before that. Although the figures were never released, it was rumored to be upwards of $20 million, reportedly. Speculation is. So what I'm saying is, there's both sides. And I'm looking for some balance. For instance, I mean, trust me, if I wanted to, if I were that guy, if I gave you what some of you want, I could read this email all day long through my vacation. Because believe me when I tell you, my inbox is jammed with emails like this one. Dear Jim, I'm looking at the man in the mirror, and he's a dead child molester. Yours, Bubbles Daddy. Signed Jeff the lawyer in Memphis. And it's good to know that a lawyer is sending emails like that. And then he wore Jesus juice. His subject is Bye-Bye Jacko. So I think that some of you, and probably Allie in Houston was one of those guys, was fearful that I was going to bust out and read that email all day long. I'm not doing that. Why would I do that? I don't do that. I mean, how many celebrities have passed? Have you heard me do that show? Again, I'm not like a lot of you morbid ghouls. I don't think it's cool when people die. I tend to look at this, and I think you need to celebrate life when somebody passes. But acknowledge their entire track record, the whole portfolio. But I'm not going to sit here for 3 hours and read that email. And believe me, there's enough of those emails that I can read this for the next 2 weeks while I'm on vacation. Looking for a little bit of balance here. Ocho Cinco dropped the ball when he immediately tweeted after hearing, and he compared it to, he talked about Farrah Fawcett and Michael Jackson passing, and he compared it to, and said it was as sad as 9/11. Not really. Sad to be sure. Sad day. But nothing was as sad as 9/11. Don't compare anything to 9/11 because nothing is like 9/11. Unless you're talking about tragic events in history, there's nothing to compare to 9/11. I mean, as sad as yesterday was and is, no one's going to confuse 6/25 with 9/11. He said, quote, okay, first, Mrs. Fawcett, now Mr. Jackson, please tell me that this is a mistaken rumor. If not, this is just as sad as 9/11. Child, please. Of course, when one or a few thousand of his followers immediately checked him, he then hedged and explained that he was in an emotional state when he said it. But by then it was too late. There's no unringing that bell. There's no jamming that toothpaste back into the tube. Twitter's like a gun. It needs a safety and a lockbox. So kids or athletes that stumble onto it don't have it end badly and in tragedy. But again, it's a sad day, but 9/11 was one of, if not the most horrific day in this nation's history. Thousands of people murdered. Innocent people murdered. Stick to doing what you do best online, Chad. Putting on a trap show and calling out Sean Merriman.
Chad, please.
All right, let's go to the phones. Orange County. David in Orange County. Nice to have you on the show. David, how are you?
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Jim.
You got it.
Well, you know, first things first, I do want to say I respect Michael Jackson music. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him, but, and this is something you touched on, there is that other side to his life, and you have to acknowledge that. So I feel like you kind of need to limit the open adulation and idolization of this guy, because, you know what, honestly, innocent people don't drop 20 mil to buy the silence of an alleged victim's family. That's all I'm saying. So, I mean, there is a way you need to handle the situation, but at the same time, I think you need to limit the amount that you admire a guy, because how much does being a celebrity and a talented musician buy you an escape from the reality of your life and the bad things you did? So
I agree with you, and that's why I'm saying I'm looking for balance. I'm looking for both sides. I agree with you. You know, I'm not going to sit up here and say that it's only about the music, and because the guy was a creative genius, that gives him a free pass for some of the other choices he made and some of the other things that he did or didn't do or was alleged to do. I agree with you. I'm saying let's have it both ways. What I'm saying is I don't want to sit here for an entire 3 hours and read emails about, or emails similar to the one that the lawyer sent me. I'm looking at the man in the mirror, and it's a dead child molester. Signed Bubbles Daddy. What I'm saying is I'm not going to get in the box today and read that email 3 times, but I think what you said is fair. His point just is innocent people don't scratch checks for $20 million for a family. I think that's a fair take. Agree or disagree? I don't think that's an irresponsible take by any stretch. Just looking for a little bit of balance. All right, we will come back. And if this is something you really want to talk about, go ahead. I'm going to keep moving and get back to some other sports. Well, get back to sports. Talk about the NBA draft. Cubs catcher Giovanni Soto tested positive for herb. Apparently blazed during the WBC. Best athlete apology I've seen in quite some time. I want to hit that and more. Joe Thomas coming up next hour. Boy Malacca in the third hour. And your telephone calls when we return.
You're listening to The Jim Rome Show.